Welcome to the Tactical Dad Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Cook, and I am the Tactical Dad. In this episode, we're going to keep it pretty short and sweet. We were recently asked, this is episode, I always forget to do this, episode 76. There we go, episode 76. And in this episode, we are going to talk ammunition, specifically rifle ammunition. What is the difference between two commonly used, common rifle ammunition, which is a 5.56 millimeter and the .223, so 5.56 and 223. If you've been around rifles and any sort of ammunition, you'll have heard people say 5.56 or 223, both ammunition for a rifle. And what's interesting, actually, I mentioned this in a podcast not too long ago, but an organization, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, I'll find it and I'll put it in the notes, but an organization that collects data and information on regulated goods in this industry, because guns and ammunition are regulated, so for the most part we know like how much of it there is, how many sales there are of each one, etc, etc. So what we know since 2020 to today, the most commonly purchased piece of ammunition is rifle ammunition, and it has the trajectory of purchasing that ammunition has now taken over the what was the 9mm ammunition. That was the most popular. So rifle ammunition has become way more popular in orders and purchases, which means then what guns are being purchased more, and since they're regulated, we can find that out. And rifles, AR-15 platform has also been a rifle that has climbed astronomically in sales and purchases. So more so than a handgun, and more so than any other type of gun, to be honest. If you look at the stats, I can't remember how they categorized the types of guns, but rifle, AR-15 platform, the trajectory of it had taken over all other types of guns. So the fact is, more people are buying a rifle, more people are buying rifle ammunition. This podcast is not about what I'm about to say, but more data was collected, and it was found that the huge increase in these numbers, the new people, the new gun owners, the biggest reason for this increase is because people are buying it for home defense. So not hunting, not competitive, like sporting, nothing like it's for home defense. So we've got more people trying to protect their home, trying to protect their family, new gun owners, new shooters that are buying a rifle, buying rifle ammunition. Fact. So in one of our relatively recent YouTube videos, somebody asked what's the difference, because I mentioned something about a rifle. Because in a previous podcast, me and my instructor, we touched on rifle and it being a good home defense platform. And the name, I could only assume that the person had generally a female name. So I think a lady asked us on YouTube, what is the difference? Because we mentioned ammunition very briefly, and this lady had asked what's the difference between a 5.56 and a 223? In terms of rifle ammunition. So this podcast is 4 points, there's probably more to it, but these are 4 that I know of that I can confidently say. So these are 4 differences between these two pieces of ammunition. So the number 1, the first difference between a 5.56 millimeter NATO cartridge and the .223 Remington rifle ammunition is that the 5.56 has a higher chamber pressure. Number 2, the actual dimension of the ammunition. So the number 2 difference, or the second difference in these two rifle ammunition, is that the 5.56 millimeter NATO cartridge is slightly longer. Not much. If you look at an image, they almost look identical. But the 5.56 cartridge is slightly longer than a 223 Remington cartridge, and its casing is also a little thicker. honestly, you can't really tell the difference, but it is that. The ballistic performance is number 3. The third difference, the number 3 difference between a 5.56 and the 2.23 is the ballistic performance. So the 5.56 NATO cartridge has a higher velocity and energy, so it packs more of a punch basically, a little bit louder. Gun ranges don't like you using this inside too much, but the 5.56 NATO cartridge has a higher velocity and energy compared to a 2.23 Remington cartridge. So basically all that means that 5.56 packs more of a punch than a 2.23. That's it. 5.56 is, so far, the 5.56 is a little bigger, a little thicker, packs more of a punch. Number 4, the fourth difference between a 5.56 and a 2.23 is the compatibility of platform and weapon. So, for example, you got to note that not all guns, not all firearms chambered in a 2.23 Remington can safely fire a 5.56. So, whereas anything that is chambered in a 5.56 can shoot both comfortably most of the time. However, I'm gonna be very specific and deliberate with what I'm about to say, is that you should always check with the manufacturer of the gun, and you'll usually find it on the barrel. I think it's like I think manufacturers have to put on the barrel now what it's chambered in. So if I look at my rifle, it says 5.56 on the barrel. It also says it on the lower receiver on, I think it's the right hand side. But either way, the manufacturer will tell you what, and they should stay on the gun what it's chambered in, because you got to know with the differences in size, not all 2.23. Not all guns chambered in 2.23 can fire safely a 5.56, and come on people, safety is number 1 thing here. We're dealing with guns. So, summarize that. 5.56 NATO cartridge is generally considered to be more powerful, packs more of a punch, and it's a little bigger, not by much, than a 2.23 Remington cartridge. However, always do your due diligence checking with the manufacturer of the ammunition and the manufacturer of the gun that you intend to put it in. That's all from me today. Hope you got something out of this. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back again next time, probably in a few hours. Have a great day.